Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Recently, we have received somber news about the passing of some extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. We will also recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Phil Jones, who as a CBS News correspondent covered some of Washington's most momentous political battles, including Watergate and President Bill Clinton's impeachment, has died. He was 87. The network said that Jones died over the weekend in Florida. Watch a CBS News tribute reel below. Jones began his career at an Indiana TV station before leaving to work at WCCO TV in Minneapolis for 7 years. He was one of the first local reporters to go to Vietnam in 1965, and he later returned, according to the Indiana Journalism Hall of Fame. He joined CBS News in 1969. He was recognized with an Emmy for his work covering Vietnam and, according to the network, was among the correspondents known as Cronkite's Kids, the team of reporters who were protégés to then anchor Walter Cronkite. Jones was present on the White House lawn as Richard Nixon resigned and left on Marine One, and then covered the administration of his successor, Gerald Ford. As Douglas Brinkley wrote in his biography of Cronkite, Jones was part of a first-rate CBS evening news lineup in the mid-1970s, perhaps even hitting a high mark with its team. Some media critics credited the success of the CBS Evening News to the excellence of the roving correspondents rather than to the anchor, Brinkley wrote. Jones had been transferred to Washington in 1972, covering legal aspects of Watergate from the federal court building. The next year, he was working a Saturday shift when he was assigned to do a story on a day in the life of Ford, then just designated to be the next vice president after Spiro Agnew resigned. He recalled in an interview in 2009 for the Gerald Ford Foundation, "So I showed up like at 5:30, 6 o'clock in Alexandria, and stood out there and waited for something to happen with Jerry Ford. And that's when I first met him. I traveled with him for the next 10 months, spent more time with him than I did my own family, and then when he became president, I moved to the White House." Later, Jones covered Capitol Hill, including the Iran-Contra scandal in 1987 and the impeachment trial of Bill Clinton in 1999. He also was a correspondent for 48 Hours. One of his most memorable assignments for the news magazine was interviewing Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry, then suspected of drug use. CBS News' Susan Zirinsky wrote on Threads that Jones did it all. "So many stories from all over the globe," she wrote, adding that he made us better journalists and he made us laugh. Jones retired from CBS News in 2001. Jones grew up on a farm in Indiana, where he recalled in the 2009 interview that he used to milk cows by hand and drove the tractor, and I was a farm son. When I was on the farm, I wanted to be a broadcaster, and I wanted to be a newsman. I don't know what inspired it. Suddenly, I had this desire to do it, Jones said in the interview with Richard Norton Smith. Jones is survived by a son, Paul, and a daughter, Pam, the network said. Pro wrestler Sid Vicious, a star at the height of the WrestleMania era of the early 1990s, whose career ended with a horrific and televised leg injury, has died after battling cancer for several years. He was 63. His death was announced on social media by son Gunnar Udy. He was a man of strength, kindness, and love, and his presence will be greatly missed, Gunnar Udy wrote about Vicious, who also went by the ring names Lord Humongous, Vicious Warrior, Sid Justice in Psycho Sid, but was born Sidney Raymond Udy on December 6, 1960, taking his most enduring ring name from the doomed punk rocker and Sex Pistols bassist who died in 1979. Udy began wrestling in 1987, rising to national prominence 2 years later when he joined World Championship Wrestling. Moving over to the WWE in 1991 as Sid Justice, Udy entered into a notorious feud with Hogan a year later. In the early to mid-1990s, Udy was among the headliners for the popular WrestleMania events, winning various world championships for both the WWE and WCW. Udy also took part in 1997 on Monday Night Raw. Udy's grappling career came to a stomach-churning end in what remains one of the ghastliest moments in televised wrestling history. During a pay-per-view match in January 2001, Yudi jumped off a turnbuckle and landed badly. His left leg snapped and dangling at a grotesque angle, bones poking through his skin. Decades later, Yudi would remember the life-changing injury in a TV interview, saying that he was still recuperating from a shoulder injury when he was convinced by a WCW executive to return and perform the rope jump. Although Yudi agreed to the return, the stunt, he said, was something I didn't want to do, and I wasn't comfortable doing. Rob the Rabbit Pitts, star of Netflix's Tex-Mex Motors, has died. He was 45. Pitts died on Sunday, August 25th, from stomach cancer, his videographer Jeff confirmed. The car expert left a final message in a YouTube video titled, "This is Goodbye." "I started feeling off after SEMA last year and I was losing weight," Pitts explains in the video with Jacob Lincoln's Too Late playing. "But I was getting ready to film season 2 of Tex-Mex Motors for Netflix and wanted to be camera ready, so I didn't mind that so much." Pitts explained that during the filming of the Netflix series, he started to lose his appetite and had more and more acid reflux-like symptoms. He said he went to urgent care several times, but didn't get to the root of the problem. Pitt's castmate Jaime took him to the ER, believing it was a gallbladder issue, and this was when he found out in March that he had stomach cancer. The Netflix personality said he had been getting treatment at home, and it's been rough, adding, "More bad days than good, but hanging in there. I have a lot to live for, and life has been going my way. Don't be sad for me. I accomplished my dream of buying my own store, finishing season 2 of, and marrying the love of my life." Tex-Mex Motors premiered on Netflix in June 2023. The show followed Pitts and Marcos "Scooter" Carrera as they looked for vintage cars in Mexico and restored them in their El Paso, Texas shop. Carrera paid tribute to Pitts in an Instagram post. "It's with a heavy heart that I write about the passing of my cast member and friend, Rob Rabbit Pitts. Rest in peace, brother. I'm going to really miss you." Roger Cook, known to viewers of PBS's long-running series, This Old House as the landscaper with a solution to every problem and an answer to every question, died August 21st following a lengthy illness. He was 70. His death was announced on This Old House's official website. "I remember every lesson from Roger," said This Old House executive producer Chris Wolf in a statement. "More importantly, there are millions of people whose lives have been enriched by everything Roger taught them." Cook's involvement with the popular home renovation series spanned nearly 40 years. He first appeared on the show for the series' second season in 1982 and signed on full-time as the landscape contractor for season 10 in 1988. When Ask This Old House debuted in 2002, Cook was part of the team, providing landscape advice directly to homeowners. Cook continued with the franchise until health issues prompted his retirement in 2020. Roger was our much-loved colleague, treasured by the entire This Old House community, for his soft-spoken but no-nonsense approach to every aspect of landscape contracting. The show's website tribute reads, "He was always there with the answers we needed." Born in 1954, Cook grew up in Burlington, Massachusetts, and was still in college at the University of Maine when he began working with local landscapers and tree firms. With a degree in wildlife management and conservation law, he founded K&R Landscape with wife Kathleen in 1982. The business, under different ownership, remains in operation. Roger's specialty and passion was plants, and no one was more knowledgeable, said Fred Pendleton, Roger's longtime friend and now co-owner of K&R Landscape with colleague Tom Pica. "You could ask Roger any question about any plant, which ones would survive shade, how to treat diseases, which perennials or annuals to choose, the best woody plants or deciduous trees for a certain backyard, even the Latin names for everything." And he knew it. Cook's health issues predate his departure from the series, first surfacing in 2018. At that time, he announced he was considering stepping down. "I have enjoyed the opportunity to share my knowledge and passion for landscaping," he said at the time, "and my life has been greatly enriched by the professional relationships and friendships I've formed over the years. I truly appreciate our fans' dedication and the concern for my well-being. Rest assured that I am in good hands, and please know that I am grateful for all of your support." Cook, who lost wife Kathleen to cancer in 2010, is survived by son Jason, daughter Molly, brother Greg, daughter-in-law Anna, and grandsons Peter, Noah, and James. Jack Russell, lead vocalist for 1980s hair metal group Great White, died Thursday from multiple system atrophy and Lewy body dementia, Rolling Stone reported. He was 63. Russell announced his retirement from touring last month after his diagnosis. "I am unable to perform at the level I desire and at the level you deserve," Russell said on social media at the time. "Words cannot express my gratitude for the many years of memories, love, and support." He was remembered today by his family. Jack is loved and remembered for his sense of humor, exceptional zest for life, and unshakable contribution to rock and roll, where his legacy will forever thrive, his family wrote in an online statement. Founded in Los Angeles in 1977, Great White rode the mid-1980s metal wave with the million-selling 1987 album Once Bitten and its double-platinum 1989 follow-up, Twice Shy. The band's songs Rock Me and Ian Hunter cover Once Bitten, Twice Shy were MTV mainstays. The latter reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went gold. Watch the video here. The band had 7 top 10 hits on the mainstream rock chart, including Save Your Love, House of Broken Love, Call It Rock and Roll, and Rollin' Stone. An earlier track, a cover of the Angels' Face the Day, from Great White's 1986 sophomore album Shot in the Dark, earned heavy airplay on Los Angeles rock outlet KMET-FM before the band broke nationwide the following year. Fueled by Once Bitten, Twice Shy, the group's 4th LP, Twice Shy reached the Billboard 200 Top 10, and 1991's Hooked and 1993 compilation disc, The Best of Great White, 1986 to 1992, are certified gold. Russell left the group in 1996 but returned in 2001 when it started touring under the name Jack Russell's Great White. Great White was the headliner at the Station nightclub in Warwick, RI, in 2003 when the group's stage pyrotechnics ignited a fire in the ceiling's acoustic foam. Within 6 minutes, the entire club went up in flames, killing 100 people, including band guitarist Ty Longley, and injuring 230. It remains the deadliest fireworks accident in U.S. history. Legal action against several parties, including Great White, was resolved with monetary settlements by 2008. Russell's survivors include his wife, Heather Ann Russell, and a son, Matthew Hucko. A public memorial is planned at a later date.